Welcome to Generations at the Altar Nights.
Welcome.
This is a little different flow from our normal Sunday prayer meeting. Generation at the Altar Nights will be a time where we bring on different kingdom-minded entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, and business owners, and just kind of let them talk about what they're doing in the kingdom. My husband and I, Titus Broom, we will be your hosts. And he's going to tell you a little bit more about our first guest.
Yes, yes, yes. See, today we're diving into a powerful conversation about discipline, consistency, and faith. And how what we do with our bodies often reveals what's happening in our spiritual lives. I'm excited that we will be joined today by Clif Taylor, the owner of Major Comeback Fitness. Clif isn't just about physical transformation. His work speaks to rebuilding mindset, commitment, and purpose. We're exploring the connection between people who work out consistently and their ability to stay committed in other areas of life, especially their walk with God. If you've ever struggled with consistency, felt spiritually stuck, or wondered how practical discipline can strengthen your faith, this conversation is for you. Let's get into it.
All right. And we'll be back at the end
to recap. So I've been doing this study that's going on at Harvard called the Human Flourishing Program, where they measure how people flourish across 6 domains. Those domains are happiness and life satisfaction, meaning and purpose, mental and physical health, character and virtue, and close social relationships. As I've been studying this, the first thing that popped in my mind was Clif Taylor of Major Comeback Fitness to talk about that physical health part. But before I even get into that, I think it's important for me to mention what is human flourishing. From what I found in human flourishing means living in a state in which all aspects of a person's life are going well. And so since I got Mr. Comeback Fitness, Mr. Clif here, I want to ask you question 1, Clif. From your experience as a trainer and a business owner, what patterns have you noticed between people who commit to physical fitness and their ability to be consistent in other areas of life, especially their faith, sir?
Gotcha. That's a loaded question. Good question, though. It is, I guess, to be on the positive side, as the question is going in that direction. Most of the time, people who stay committed to fitness, they don't rely on how they feel each day. They're more like they know that their results are going to come from showing up each day, even when they don't feel like it. So I tell my clients all the time, you just got to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. It's the same with spirituality or our journey with Christ or our walk with God. It translates directly to our faith. So things like prayer, scripture, service, devotion, our worship, it should happen regardless of whatever day of the week it is or how we feel. We should just do it because God is who He is to us. He's our creator. He's our father. He loves us. And so with the fitness, I always tell people, you just got to do it even when you don't feel like doing it. The results will come. And so it's the same with your spiritual walk is regardless of how you feel, God still deserves our praise. He still deserves our service and our humbleness and our worship. So that's how, those two kind of go together.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So my second question is, Clif, working out requires discipline long before results show. How do you see that same principle applying spiritual growth and walking by faith?
Yeah, so it's crazy because a lot of people, I think, that's a good question because a lot of times the struggle is delayed gratification
Mm,
or like, delayed results. Like I prayed, I've been praying, God ain't answered the prayer. He ain't, we all say the old saying, I don't know where they got that from, but they say my prayers hitting the ceiling.
yeah. Yeah.
He hear them, it just ain't necessarily the time for you to get what you've been praying for, or your heart just ain't been right either way. But I'm not gonna go too deep spiritually on that. But I see people struggling in the delayed gratification with working out and also spiritually. So both require patience. I
Mm,
always tell clients, you're just not starting back working out or you're just starting your fitness journey. You're gonna have to wait 60 to 90 days before you can see results. And
mm,
that's just science. Like I didn't make that up. So it takes 60 to 90 days, for your body to get into a mode of getting in shape, uh, burning calories, eventually getting to the point to where it's burning fat. So it takes, 60 to 90 days. And so when you're dealing with that, they're both a journey. So your faith and your fitness, they're both a journey. It's a slow process. And fitness teaches patience. You don't see results after one workout. Just don't. Um, but at first it can seem like invisible. But then as you keep going and you keep showing up every day, eating right, and you're doing the things that your trainer or your coach or whatever guidance that you have, you'll eventually get to the point to where you'll start seeing the results. It's kind of the same way spiritually, just being consistent. Um, you don't quit just because your prayer wasn't answered, right? You
mm.
don't quit just because you didn't feel very spiritual that day or that you sinned or you fell short, right? Bible says that we all fall short of the glory. We get back up and we keep trying after we take that L. And so a person that has a spiritual discipline, has a real true belief in God, they trust that in God's plan and faithfulness, even when the situation has not changed or the prayer hasn't been answered, they're still faithful, right? They're still showing up. And that's where I think, those two require patience.
That's good. And I just want to say before Vania um, speaks uh, that Clif posted a video of him walking in the neighborhood. It was, you don't post a bunch of videos, but it was one in particular that you talked about walking and the importance of just moving. And me, being in the wheelchair, I was like, man, it was so encouraging that I literally went to the park
Yeah.
and
Clear
started
your
roll.
head.
I mean, doing that. Now, like you
Yeah.
said, that one time I was like, whoop, I ain't rolled like this in years. But then it became this thing where I was like, I got to go back the next Wednesday. I got to go back. I got to go back. I got to go back. Even to the point, me and Vania went yesterday, and I was telling her we was riding today. I was like, I'm gonna go to the park. She was looking like we got grocery in the back of the car. But it's like you said, I literally felt like I needed to go back to the park today. It's like you get that consistency starts going. And it started for me seeing your video, and it was very encouraging. But whether you walk on the roll, and it was that consistent thing now. Like now, I feel this adrenaline rush to go to the park just to get
Yeah.
that mile in or whatever that is around that park. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
need to
that's
just do that.
encouraging to hear that. The last thing I want to add to that, I actually forgot. They both begin on the inside. So a lot of times when we look at fitness and health and fitness, we especially on social media, all we see is the bodies, or and the results. You never got to see very rarely do you see what a person started. Some people do post their journey, so I'm not gonna say that they don't, but a lot of times when we're scrolling, we just see the results. Wow, that's awesome. Like I wonder how they achieved that, right? But it started on the inside, so it's the same way spiritually or with your faith. Before you see anything outward, you got to start on the inside. So you got to have that
Mm,
inside change. You got to break those bad habits, fitness wise. You got to get that motivation. You have to work on that discipline. It's the same way with your faith. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be an inward change, and then once you spend so much time with God, people will see the change on the outside, right? So,
yeah, that's what's up.
All right, those were some great questions, which leads up to mine. This is like major for me, because I'm one of those people. I'll go in starting strong, but after a while, yeah, I saw the eyebrows. It's just like I just can't do it no more. So my question is, states many people struggle with starting strong, but staying uh many people struggle with starting strong, but staying consistent is, it's an issue. How has fitness taught you the value of daily commitment, and how has that shaped your relationship with God?
Yeah, I think that's a struggle with everybody. And I constantly have to remind clients, give yourself some grace.
Mhm.
I remember a pastor telling me one time, grace is recycled. God gives it to us and then it just continues on, through us. But a lot of times we just don't give ourselves enough grace. Well, I have people that will start their workout, they'll start out great for a few days and then they'll fall off and then they just be like, well, I might as well just quit now. And I'm like, nah, it doesn't work like that, right? Give yourself some grace. Hey, I took an L yesterday. Let me get back up and do what I need to do today. So that's the very first thing that I just wanted to start off with to help with to answer the question is to always give yourself grace when you're starting your fitness journey because you're gonna fall short. It's the same with our faith, our walk with Christ. You're gonna fall short. I mean, it
Mhm.
tells us that you're gonna fall short, right?
Mhm.
And so my to answer the question, my daily commitment to God started way before my fitness journey. I mean, you and I both had a background, or we grew up in athletics, and then our parents being athletes as well. So we were kind of always doing, we were, in shape. But as far as my actual fitness journey when I was a grown man after sports, that was a tough beginning for me because I got really out of shape, but it started a long time ago. And what I probably learned from it was my routine. So one of the things that I had an issue with, and then I see people struggling with, is finding a routine. So I think we hear this thing where people say find balance, and then I heard a pastor say balance is a little weird because we're in different seasons of life. So we got to find a healthy rhythm. And with that healthy rhythm, things are changing, a new job, new location, children, spouse, your finances are different. All you're in these different seasons of life. And so what I had to do was I had to get up early before everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's getting up early, getting my prayer, going to my quiet place, my secret place, my devotion time, reading scripture, and then I would go into my workout. So my workout serves my lift and my runs help clear my head. They're outlets.
Hmm.
So if I'm starting my day off with scripture and reading and spending time with God, by the time I'm in my workout, I'm on my runs, I'm thinking about sermons or teachings or the scripture that I read. I'm meditating on it because the workout is basically breaking me down, all my anxieties, all the
Mm-hmm.
things that I'm wrestling with because I'm too tired to battle them. And that spirit nature starts to kick in and God is talking to me, right? He's if I pray, give you an example, I've been praying a lot, just asking God to search my heart, reveal to me the things that you're not pleased with that are not right, help me with those things. So sometimes I'll be running and I go, yeah, you probably need to go make this right with your wife, or you need to go back and, do this with your kids better, or you should be this, you should have a little bit more grace with your coworkers, right? So I'm starting to hear from God a lot better with my workout because I started it with spending time with him, but he's in the workout, he's on the run, as well. But that just routine is what helped me. Just saying, hey, I got to get up early because if I don't, it's over with. Once everybody gets
Mm-hmm.
up and bickering and trying to get ready for school and You know,
Mm-hmm.
everybody rushing out the door, you know, you've already just been overwhelmed or overstimulated
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
by the time you can get to God. So it helped me routine wise to say I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
just start getting up early, whether it's going to the gym or getting in the gym, but I gotta start my day off with him early in my devotion time and then going into the workout.
Yeah. That getting up early. I mean, and when you say early, I mean, for me, that's like trying, if I were to try to, because I'm not currently exercising the way that I should, but I'm getting there.
Yep,
But if I were to try to fit in a workout with my worship time, that means that I'll be up at 4, because I try to get about 2 hours in the morning time. So that means I should be exercising at about 6. And then, like it seemed like everybody kind of get to moving around 8, 9-ish,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So I think
Yeah,
I
I
think
heard
that would, if I
yeah,
looked at it like that, that would help.
it would.
But then
And
that means going
your
to
body get
bed.
used to it. Yeah, you gotta go to bed. That's what I was about to say. You just gotta go to bed. I heard somebody say this one time. He said, spending time with God is not complicated, but it is costly.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, and it's the same with working out, man. He just, you know, and that I had to change my total routine. I remember it when Elena turned 1. That's when I was like, I'm gonna get back in this gym. And I had to get up super early to drive to the gym, and to get my prayer time and stuff like that. Sometimes I was praying on the way to the gym. So it's costly. It's not
Mm-hmm.
complicated. He didn't make it complicated, but it is costly. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So my next question, Scripture talks about discipline in the body. 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27, it states, instead, I discipline my body and bring it under strict control so that after preaching to others, I myself will not be disqualified. How do you explain the connection between honoring God with our bodies and strengthening our spiritual discipline?
yeah, this question is loaded. It is like this is we could probably we could probably talk about this one for a long time, but I'm gonna try to have a good answer. The only way I can probably help with this because it's one of the verses that I like, where he talks about spiritual discipline, but he kind of uses like a sports analogy with
Mm,
it. But I guess to give it context, in verse 24, he's using the race winning analogy,
right.
and he's more so talking about like the Christian journey, and it takes self denial. It takes some hard work, and then it takes some preparation, which we kind of just got through talking about. But in order, we need self discipline. That's one of the things it requires self discipline, and then just to take an honest evaluation of yourself. Like, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? Right? I call it taking inventory. Like, what are your strengths and
Mm-hmm.
weaknesses? So, from a health and fitness standpoint, evaluating yourself. So I do what's called an evaluation before a client starts to see if they'll be a good fit. So once they fill out the evaluation and I go over it with them, it goes over like how they eat, how many times do they, eat fast food? Are you tracking your meals? Like, and so what it does is it goes down the line and it makes the person take the time to evaluate themselves and answer the questions honestly. So by the time they're having the conversation with me, they kind of like, well, I didn't really realize it, but I do go out to eat too much, right? Or I'm probably eating too many calories and I don't know it, or I don't work out enough, right? And so that's where the self-evaluation comes in to find out how much self-discipline this particular client will have. And so you got to ask yourself, how's my nutrition? Am I eating good or bad? Am I eating enough calories? Am I eating too many calories? Do I eat out too much? Am I getting enough exercise in? Right? That's evaluating, your health or yourself or your fitness, right? And then it's the same way spiritually. Um, we should evaluate what are my temptations? Am I hanging around people that's leading me to Christ? Or are they leading me away?
Mm-hmm.
Am I around whatever I struggle with? Am I around people that's helping me, to get away from these temptations, or are they leading me more into these temptations?
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing is, and it's crazy with church culture, we'll talk about honoring the body, but we don't really ask ourselves, am I honoring God with how I eat? The things that I'm putting in my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I honoring God with how I'm taking care of my body? Another one, how am I getting proper rest? Right? Especially in church culture, we just feel like we gotta go, 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 run, 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 run. And then we forget like Jesus rested. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's those types of things where you gotta have this moment where you gotta look yourself in the mirror. And a lot of people are starting to do it now, going into January. But we need to do it every day. You know what I mean? To be like, man, am I honoring God with, not only what I'm doing, like spiritually, am I reading my Bible? Am I spending time with God? Am I going to church? Am I paying my tithes? Like whatever it is that that you're looking at, you also have to be like, am I taking care of the body, the temple, right? Am I honoring God with, what I'm putting in my body, right? How I'm treating my body. So I think that's where those two connect is self-discipline. And I think in 27, was it verse 27? Was it
Yeah.
27? So that is crazy because I remember reading this and I think I took it out of context when I first was reading it. And then as I, went to school, did some more studying and stuff like that. When Paul wasn't saying it like he was losing the race or he was going to lose his salvation. Paul was saying, I discipline myself, like a boxer, or, I train myself so that I won't lose my privilege to share the gospel. Right.
That's
You
good.
see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, study yourself, approve. And so he was like, I don't want to fail at that and then lose my privilege. Now, he ain't going to lose his salvation. He's like, I don't want to lose my privilege because I have to be an example. I have to live what I'm talking about. So it's the same with fitness. I can't be telling folks, hey, you overweight or you need to do this. You need to get your life together. That's one of the reasons why I post. For business wise too, because people go on the page, they want to see, what does he look like? Does he work out? Does he
Mm-hmm.
look like he know what he doing, right? So you can see me in the fitness realm, I'm practicing what I preach. It's the same way with student ministry or doing ministry. Is he practicing what he's preaching, right? And so that's where that self-discipline comes in, spiritually and in the fitness realm, and how those two are connected. And I think just to kind of answer your question, you was asking about the spiritual discipline and the connection. So that's how they're connection. I think they're connected with self-discipline is what
Mm-hmm.
Paul was just kind of talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And you're right about the self-discipline part, and then about the eating. Said she that just ate a fish fillet, from McDonald's, fillet of
I mean,
fish.
it's very
Yeah,
rare. It's very
yeah.
rare for you.
But I hadn't
Better than the
had
space
one in a
burger.
while, so it wasn't like I,
Yeah.
was eating
Yeah.
them every day. We just went to this McDonald's. It had two floor levels, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
beautiful, and it looked like a castle. And it's like I just felt like we was getting some really good McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's a better choice than I would probably say some of the other stuff that they have on the menu. But I mean, you don't really eat that kind of stuff. I was actually surprised you actually said that you ate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when you see places like that, the place draws you and you're like, it's the same food, but you go, I gotta have this experience. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So, but it don't happen. It don't happen all the time. For the most
Yeah,
part, we cook,
yeah.
and things like that. But just every now and then, now I haven't been as bad on the sweets. My husband brought home these, holiday sweets. So I
Yeah.
was just like, we get past the
Yeah. Well,
holidays.
you know where I am on that, so I don't even try to fight that during the holidays. I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Hey, that's the balance.
Yeah,
All right,
the
so my
healthy
last
rhythm right
question.
there.
What'd you say?
The healthy rhythm.
Yeah.
A healthy rhythm.
Cause now, but truthfully speaking, when I tried to do strict diets, it was like it made me so depressed because I'm trying to keep up with so much, and I'm like, oh, I can't eat that because it's got that in there. It's got that in there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was driving me nuts trying to keep
Well,
up
yeah.
with
Well,
all that stuff.
that's what's happened now. Society
Mm-hmm.
has caused a lot of anxieties. Like you'll just if you're on social media and somebody be like, you shouldn't eat a whole banana, or I just saw somebody send me something saying drinking this much water is too much for your body. It's
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy. And I'm just like, where was this stuff at when we was growing up? You know what I mean? And so now you see stuff and people are putting so much misinformation out there and being careless about it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's boosted everybody's anxieties and it's very not I guess you use the word depressing, but a lot of people will go, well, I'm unhealthy. I might as well stay unhealthy because all this other stuff that I
Mm-hmm.
thought was good for me. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a lie from the devil.
Yeah. It got
It is.
pesticides and it's got this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the junk food ain't
At
got
this
no
point,
pesticides. I'm just
we can't reverse pesticides.
I just say
We can
bless the
try to,
food.
we can't reverse pesticides. I'm sure we'd have had all of
Mm-hmm.
it.
All right. So for someone who feels inconsistent in their faith or overwhelmed spiritually, how can starting a fitness routine become a practical tool for rebuilding confidence, discipline, and trust in God?
um, Man, like I said from the beginning, give
Mm-hmm.
yourself some grace. I
Mm-hmm.
constantly have to remind people, don't beat yourself up. Like life already gonna beat you up.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself some grace. You know what I'm saying? Enough room. You're gonna mess up. You like you said, you're gonna have the fillet of fish. You're gonna eat the cookie. You're gonna have some cake during the holidays. You're gonna have those things. Don't feel like you're gonna gain all your weight back. Just what I'm saying, and just in your mind, your brain will play games with you like that if you don't give yourself grace, and then you'll get to a point where you just, a lot of people give up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think C.S. Lewis said it the best. It's one of my favorite quotes. He said, "You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending."
That's
Right. So
good.
we didn't have all this information overload, I call it, when we were growing up. I think our parents pretty much gave us a very healthy lifestyle for what they knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very appreciative of that. But it's still a lot of things that we just did not know. I know you did a lot of research health wise on nutrition and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
and being on your journey. But we can't go back and change the beginning. We can't we can't go back and change the fact that we didn't know pesticides was all on the fruit that we enjoy eating from Easy
Mm-hmm.
Way. You know what I mean? And so, but there are things that we know now.
Mm-hmm.
Juicing, vitamins, different things, a healthier lifestyle that we can kind of help change the ending with. And so, I just say give yourself some grace, but then also just remember you can't go back and we're not in control. That's basically what he's saying. I'm not in control, but I can control your controllables. I can start today
Control your
on working
controls.
on how my ending is, right? And it's the same way if you have lived a life of being lost, if you've been maybe a believer, but you've been lukewarm your whole entire life, or you gave your life to Christ, but it was more based on your parents or your grandparents or your guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're finding your way. You're on your own journey of finding Christ. And you just gotta realize, man, God loves you right where you are. He has you right where he wants you, right? And you ain't don't try to feel like you gotta read your Bible in one day. It's a journey. Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's not looking for us to be super Christians, right? And just like when I get new clients, I'm not looking for them to turn into a super athlete, right? I'm just trying to help them
You sure?
to get to going. Yeah, I'm gonna work them out like one.
I was
But
like, look, the worst thing
yeah,
you can do is be a former athlete
yeah.
and
I'm
let
gonna
let
turn you into
somebody
a
train you.
machine.
That person knows it. That is
I tell
like
them
I
all the
could he
time.
wouldn't cut me no slack. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I tell them
None.
all the time. I said, if you allow it, I will turn you into a machine. I will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and some people have bought into it and some people haven't. But yeah, to answer the last question, It's just give yourself grace. It's just people just beating themselves up out here when they fall short, and whether it's in faith or whether it's in fitness, and we just got to give ourselves grace because we're not perfect, and that's why Jesus died for our sin, right? You know what I'm saying? Because we just can't get right. We can't do it, right? And so, same way you would go about your discipline in your day with your health and your nutrition and your fitness, you got to have that same tenacity of running after God because we need His grace, right? You know what I'm saying? We need God, and so if we chase after Him enough, then people will start to see that spirit and the spirit of God in us. We ain't got to act like it. We ain't got to talk like it. It's just gonna automatically come out of us. Just like if you work out every day and you eat right every day, after a while, people gonna go, man, you been doing something. What you been doing, right? I want what you got. It's the same way spiritually.
Oh yeah, I agree. And He loves to be pursued. So
absolutely,
yeah. All right. Okay, so we're wrapping this up, and so Clif, tell us how people can reach you if they want to sign up to train with you personally.
If you are on social media, you can find me under MCF Workouts, MCF Workouts. You'll see my picture on there. So that's Facebook and Instagram. If you are on IG, you can actually find my link in the bio, so it'll take you right to the website, or you can just go to www.majorcomebackfitness.com. Check out the website, tutorials. You can go in there and buy some merch too. Or you can just go down there. I do free consultations, so you can go fill out an application. My spots are filling up pretty quickly though for January, but you can do a free consultation and we'll do an evaluation and see if you're a good fit and get you started on your fitness journey.
And we'll post that information for anyone who is wanting to go on this journey with Coach Clif, Major Comeback Fitness, and we'll have all the information posted for everyone to view it. All right. Until the next time.
Thank you, Clif.
Thanks again. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yo, now that, y'all know, that was good. Now, we took our own notes. Well, she took notes. What stood out to you about that? That was good.
Well, what really stood out for me was the fact that Coach Clif stated that the people that those that commit to fitness normally don't rely on how they feel. They just do it. And that really hit home for me because a lot of times I don't feel like working out. I don't want to go through that stress on my body. I don't want to go through the pain. But that's something that I would just have to get over. You know what I'm saying? I can't be thinking about how it's going to feel. I need to be thinking more so on the results that are going to come from it and how he correlated that with their spiritual journey. A lot of times you don't see results and stuff right away, and you're thinking you should be feeling something or having some warm fuzzies or something like that, and a lot of times you don't get that. So you still have to stay encouraged and move forward, regardless. So what was the main?
So maybe that's the thing when you talked about controllables.
Yeah, that was good too. Now, yeah, being able to control your controllables was the way that he broke it down.
Did y'all catch that? Control your controllables. Wow. Right. There are some things that are in the realm of your ability to control, but trying to control everything is impossible. Control your controllables. That was good. One of the things that stuck out to me was, like you said, the correlation, how he tied the physical working out to the spiritual as well. That is really, like you said, not about feelings. one of the things that stood out to me was the C.S. Lewis quote. When he said, you cannot go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. To me, that hit home, because oftentimes I find myself always, trying to replay what happened yesterday, and thinking that if I can just get back to yesterday, then that can control the ending. And that's not just only physical workout, if I had never quit in the first place, but even, if I just kept reading the Bible, or if I just kept going to this church, or it's not about that. It's literally about, it's almost like in short, what Clif was saying, Coach Clif was saying, and what C.S. Lewis was saying, start where you are. You know what I'm saying? And know that that's enough. Just being willing to start where you are right now, that has the power to dictate the end of the story anyway. And if I might quote the Bible, it says that God calls the end of a thing. You know what I'm saying? He goes to the end. You know what I'm saying? He's Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So he's in the beginning of it. And if that's not good enough, he's at the end of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. And there was another part in there where he was talking about being, consistent. Getting that, he said, finding like a healthy rhythm.
Yeah, I like that.
That was like,
because at first we talked about balance.
Yeah.
Because everybody's about, we're going to find a balance of things, and I like how he said that, because when he was talking about that, I thought about the rhythm of music, how the beat can be one way, and that doggone thing will change up, and you get the anyway. But that rhythm will change up, and it doesn't negate how the rhythm started or how it ends, but it's just the rhythm of it is up and down, and it flows in music. And I thought about that and like it. I thought about when he said that, I like that better, the rhythm of it rather than the balance of it. So that was amazing.
So if you want to get in touch with Coach Clif, he can be reached on Facebook, on his personal Facebook page, Clifton Taylor, Clifton Taylor. You can also reach him on Instagram at MCF Workout, MCF WORKOUT. And if you go to the Instagram page, you'll also find his website, www.majorcomebackfitness.com. There you can sign up for coaching with him, and you'll also see testimonials, and he also has merchandise that can be purchased as well. So we thank you all for being with us. We look forward to seeing you next month.
Peace.
Dark twisted fantasies, caste system casualties, lying lips inside the pulpit, false realities, Masoretic textual criticism, cynicism.